"Are you getting sick or something, Hilary?" Lucy asked, still chuckling. "This is a doll, Andrew. A very realistic one, but a doll nonetheless." Andrew's face turned bright red as he stared at the baby in Lucy's arms. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Just moments ago, he was convinced that he was holding a real baby. "No, no, no," Andrew protested. "I saw it move. I heard it cry." Lucy raised an eyebrow. "You must have been hallucinating, Andrew. This thing doesn't even have batteries." But before Andrew could respond, the baby suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. The sound sent chills down their spines as it began to wail hysterically. "What the?" Lucy started to say, but her words were drowned out by the ear-piercing cries. Andrew's eyes widened in terror as he stared at the doll. This was no ordinary toy. As they tried to calm down the baby, the room began to darken and the air grew colder. The lights flickered and dimmed until they were surrounded by an eerie darkness. Suddenly, the baby doll began to glow with an otherworldly light. Its face contorted into a twisted grimace as it started to float in mid-air. "Oh my God," Lucy whispered, her voice trembling with fear. The ghostly apparition of the baby doll began to torment them, its wails growing louder and more menacing. It started to circle around them, its cold breath sending shivers down their spines. Andrew and Lucy were paralyzed with fear as they watched in horror. The next thing they knew, they were trapped in Andrew's apartment. The doors and windows slammed shut on their own, and no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't open them. "What's going on?" Lucy cried out in desperation. The baby doll continued to float above them, its malevolent presence suffocating them. "I think we're trapped," Andrew said grimly. Suddenly, the lights flickered back on and everything returned to normal, except for one thing. The baby doll was now invincible. As they watched in terror, the baby doll began to freeze them with an icy stare. It raised its hand and sent them flying across the room with an unseen force. Andrew and Lucy cowered in fear as they realized that this was no ordinary toy. Andrew and Lucy scrambled to their feet, desperate to escape the doll's wrath. But it was too late. The doll's powers seemed to be growing by the minute. With a flick of its wrist, the doll sent books flying off the shelves, crashing to the floor with a deafening roar. The sound was followed by an eerie silence, as if the very air itself was being sucked out of the room. "We have to get out of here," Andrew whispered urgently, grabbing Lucy's hand. But as they turned to make a run for the door, they found themselves face to face with an impenetrable wall of water. The faucets in Andrew's kitchen had turned on by themselves, flooding the room with icy cold water. The doll cackled maniacally as it watched them struggle to stay afloat. Andrew and Lucy clung to each other, their legs kicking wildly as they tried to find a way out. But there was no escape. The water continued to rise, threatening to engulf them completely. Just when all hope seemed lost, Andrew remembered something. He recalled reading about an ancient ritual that could banish evil spirits back to where they came from. With newfound determination, Andrew grabbed Lucy and began to chant the words of the ritual. The doll let out a blood-curdling scream saying, "It's not over yet. I will only leave when I want to. There is nothing you can do to me, because I am a spirit." Andrew and Lucy were paralyzed with fear, unsure of what she had planned for them. That night, they tried to sleep, but their minds were haunted by dark visions. Andrew was tormented by nightmares of his past mistakes, while Lucy was plagued by images of the baby doll's twisted face. They woke up exhausted, their bodies drenched in sweat. But as they looked at each other, they knew that the worst was yet to come, as Andrew and Lucy were sitting in their living room when they heard a faint whisper. It was the baby doll, its voice low and menacing. "You," it said, its eyes fixed on Andrew. "You had a fling with my mother. You made her pregnant and forced her to abort me." Andrew's eyes widened in horror as he realized the truth. He had forgotten about that night, about the girl he had carelessly slept with. The baby doll continued to taunt him, its voice dripping with venom. "I am here to make your life a living hell," it said. "You will never know peace." Lucy gasped in shock as Andrew slumped forward, his face buried in his hands. Andrew knew he had to make amends for his past mistakes. He fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness from the baby doll. "I'm sorry," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "I was young and stupid. I didn't know what I was doing." The baby doll regarded him coldly for a moment before speaking again. "I want you to promise me something," it said. "Promise me that you will change your ways. Promise me that you will never hurt anyone again." Andrew nodded eagerly, desperate for redemption. "I promise," he said fervently. "I'll do anything to make it right." With those words, the baby doll vanished into thin air. The room fell silent once more. Andrew collapsed onto the floor, exhausted and traumatized by the events of the past few days. Lucy rushed to his side, holding him close as he sobbed uncontrollably. As they sat there together, they knew that their lives would never be the same again. If you enjoyed the video and found value in the story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends and family, and drop a comment below sharing the lessons you've learned from the story. Your engagement means the world to us and helps spread positivity and inspiration to even more viewers. Together, let's keep learning and growing. See you in the next video.